Recording in progress. All right, it's 7:01 on Sunday, June 20th. Welcome to the 17th reading in the Speculative Sundays poetry reading series, where you can hear the poetry of possibilities. We are live on Facebook, yay, via Zoom. I'm Akua Leslie Hope, speaking to you from the ancestral land of the Onondaga, also known as the Seneca, keepers of the Western Door in the Southern Finger Lakes region of New York State. I pay homage to the Seneca, past, present, and future, and to my own ancestors by whose grace I exist and am sustained. This event is funded in part by poets and writers with public funds from the New York State Council on the Arts, with the support of Governor Andrew Cuomo and the New York State Legislature. Speculative poetry, the poetry of possibilities, includes alternate history, cryptids, monsters, cyberpunk, dystopia, fairy tales, fabulism, fantasy, folklore, futurism, horror, magic, mythology, occult, paranormal, robots, science fiction, shifters, slipstream, solar punk, space opera, superhero, supernatural, sword and sorcery, sword and soul, steampunk, time travel, post-apocalyptic, and weird. It takes all poetic forms, plus sci-fi coup. I'm going to introduce our wonderful reader for this evening, Juan Manuel Perez, a Mexican-American poet of indigenous descent and the current poet laureate for Corpus Christi, Texas, the author of Another Menudo Sunday, Oh Dark Heaven, a response to Suzette Hayden Elgin's definition of horror, WUI, written under the influence of Trinidad Sanchez Jr. Live from La Pryor, the poetry of Juan Manuel Perez, a Zavala Country Native Son, Volume 1. Sex, Lies, and Chupacabras. Pause to put the book in front of my face. Can you see it? No, I see you can't. Let's see if I do it. No, you can't see it. Oh, well.
Let me help you.
Thank you. Well, I've got one too. I just wanted to prove to him I've got one too.
Okay.
There. Sex, Lies, and Chupacabra. We'll talk more about that. I love that. And whoa, Space in Pieces, which, all right, yes, if I put it over my face, Space in Pieces. And Screw the Wall and Other Brown People Poems. He's also the co-editor of The Call of the Chupacabra and co-founder of the House of the Fighting Chupacabras Press, a Pushcart Prize nominee. He was the 2011-2012 San Antonio Poets Association Poet Laureate and the Lone Star State's only lifetime El Chupacabra's Poet Laureate. The former gore dancer for, I hope I'm saying this correctly, he can help me, Memphis Tia Pia Big River Clan Warrior Society, is also a striving for excellence and accountability in the teaching of traditional American history scholar through the University of Dallas. Juan is a 10-year Navy Corpsman combat Marine medic with experience in the 1991 Persian Gulf War and with the 2nd Marines and the 1992 Hurricane Andrew Relief Marine Air Group Task Force. A former migrant field worker previously from La Pryor, Juan was twice awarded Teacher of the Year. He teaches public high school history, writes poetry, and chases chupacabras in the Texas Coastal Bend area. Welcome, Juan. Delighted to have you here this evening.
Oh, and that was the Memphis Taipei Warrior Society. So that's the way they say it, but did
Say it
fine.
once more for me. The Memphis.
Memphis Taipei Warrior
Oh,
Society.
Taipei. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, it's okay. It's okay. A lot of people, even the people that are in there, sometimes have a little trouble saying it. So, um, but anyways, so yeah, uh, all those things. So we start off. I guess is there any? I did hear that you like sea stuff, like mermaids. Is that right? So there's two mermaid poems that are not in the books that I wanted to read for you. One's already published, and another one's not. And it might be seen later on. I think heard something about the eye to the telescope or something like that. So we'll see. All right, so I guess I can just start reading, right? Okay, all right. So I proved to myself earlier that I wasn't as technology wise as I thought I was, even though I'm a teacher. so, so I get a little lost sometimes, I guess. So hold on just a second. So this poem right here um, was published this year in the Texas Poetry Assignment website by Professor Musgrove, and it's called the Mermaloids Lament, and it was part of an assignment. It's got several assignments. You might want to look into it for some of you that are writing poetry now. The speculative part can be in any piece of normal poetry, if you want to call it that, in normal poetry venues and magazines and whatnot. And this one I got in there is, I believe the title of the assignment was "How's It Like Here" or something like that. So here we go. The Mermaloids Lament. And by the way, a lot of poetry that I do is, speculative sometimes have a political bent to it, as I do my actual political poetry, as in the book Screw the Wall, which I won't read from today because it's actually all political poetry. But anyways, this is called Mermaloids Lament. From whence we came, when dry land was yet to be, when legs were fable. Then we crawled on out, evolving from fins to limbs, taking steps away. Before history, before the reed met the clay, when thoughts said it all, then to quill and ink, to write salty tales of old, of time out of place, forgot our purpose, we, descendants from the drink, all near washed away, now to screens and texts, far from the call of the deep, far from whence we were. War, we learned it well, cutting limbs away for peace, crawling back to sea. So that's that one there. That's Mermaloids Lament. Thank you. Obviously, it's political bent saying that we don't want war. We'd rather be in the sea instead of learning man's ways. That was the idea behind that. So the one that's not published, and I will read for the first time. Let me get it quick. This was sort of like that, I guess, but not quite. See if I find it. I'll up a little higher. There it is. This is called Bone Necklace, and I hope to see this one published pretty soon. We never know. Bone Necklace. Made a fine necklace from the mermaid bones I found, where oceans once laid, seemed to call to me. Maybe I imagined it. Either way, it was real. When I wear the bones, I smell the oceans that were under bluest skies. When I wear the bones, I swim through the old current's coolness of the flow. When I wear the bones, I talk to all the sea life whose names time forgot. When I wear the bones, I see all that flew above, listen to their splash. This made me wonder if man ever existed, left no bones behind. So obviously we're talking about an apocalyptic future, and what was left behind by man. He left no bones. Too busy killing himself. So okay. So there's actually I've been working on mermaid poems for first time this year. It just, I don't know, I never actually wrote about them before. And I got some other things I'm still working on as far as mermaid is concerned, but you might see that one. Hopefully, I don't know. It depends on the person. Wink, wink. All right. So before I get into these other, I guess that the books that she was referring to, like Sex, Lies, and Chupacabras, or The Call, you know what? Let me go ahead and do that. You know, in my poetry, I do other things too. With it, I try to do parodies of things around me and submit it as poetry. But you'll recognize this. I write a lot about the chupacabra. The chupacabra, it's not just a cryptid, but is more of a political creature involving brown people and essentially indigenous people of this area. Some of them known as Mexicans, and obviously that's a general name because among the Mexicans we have the actual tribes like the one that my mom belongs to, Purapechi Otomi. So it's a national thing to call somebody a Mexican or Mexican American, but under that label is the subcategory where you actually belong to. Kind of like calling everybody in America Americans, and under that label you fall into, for example, the cousin tribes here in America, you know, either Apache, and under Apache you got Chiricahua, White Mountain, you know, and all those. So anyway, so the chupacabra is an improvement on an old use of calling Mexicans cockroaches, believe it or not. I know. Oh, by the way, this race theory thing, it's not going to work for me. I hate that. It's just not going to work for me. It's critical race baloney that Trump has. I hate to say that. But anyways, the point is that chupacabra is the new personification of the immigrant, if you would, in some cases of my poetry. So you'll see that some of it kind of mirrors that. I'm just kind of explaining it real quick. But anyways, chupacabra is a way of life. Okay. So here's a song you'll recognize. I call it the Chupambura. Okay, obviously it's a parody of the song the Kookaburra. So Chupacabra sits near the mesquite tree. Happy, happy Lord of the sticks is he. Growl, Chupacabra, growl, Chupacabra running wild and free. Chupacabra sits near the mesquite tree. Happy, happy Lord of the sticks is he. How, Chupacabra, moon as full. Chupacabra sits near the mesquite tree. Happy, happy Lord of the weeds is he. Run, run, Chupacabra, time to hide. Chupacabra sits on a cactus pear, thorns sticking out like strands of hair. Yelp, Chupacabra, sometimes livestock there. Anyone paradise it. I paradise a lot of Christmas songs, which I'm not going to sing about Chupacabra, like Grandma got run over by Chupacabras and things like that. But I also did, the reason why I say is I'm open up to you because I also did the same thing with zombies. So I'll show you that too. I like to write about dead people. I mean, being a medic, you know, obviously there's real things, and I guess I try to deal with the things that haunt me, you know, from things that I've done in the past as a medic before I became a teacher. So, but I like dead people. You know, they have flavor, and sometimes more flavor than real people. So let me just get to this real quick. Let me see, where is it at? Right here, and then I'll read the. Okay, here it is. So just to show you that I also do it with zombies. And this is going to be actually the book that I'm going to read from in just a second before this poem is actually called Planet of the Zombie Sonnets, and it's coming out from Hungry Buzzard Press pretty soon. We already got the cover, but it's not official yet. And of course, the final edits are coming to me. But this is for the second book. This is called Shush Little Zombie. Oh, Shush Little Zombie, I'm sorry. It's called Zombie Sonnet Nursery Song. By the way, these are sonnets, but they're zombie sonnets. So in case you're wondering why I'm doing that with that word. Shush, little zombie, don't you cry. Papa's gonna stake you through your eye. And if that stake won't kill you, then Papa's gonna try a bowling pin. And if that pin don't knock you still, Papa's gonna try some acid pills. And if that doesn't melt you too, Papa's gonna try to slice you through. And if that slicing just won't do, Papa's gonna try to chainsaw you. And if that chainsaw just won't last, Papa's gonna try a shotgun blast. Die, little zombie, it's time to go. Papa has tried everything he knows. Anyways, so so I do those kinds of things. Of course, I'm all over the spectrum when it comes to things like that. So let me read you a few poems from the soon to be coming out book, and you guys are getting a preview of it because it's not doing it anywhere else, obviously. Some people in the regular poetry realms was going like, "What are you doing?" Like some of you are probably asking right now, "What are you doing?" But anyways, here's some zombie sonnets. I'll read them. They're rather fast and not like Shakespearean sonnets or anything like that. So this is from the forthcoming book by Hungry Budget Press, Planet of the Zombies on It, seasons 1 and 2. There's 50 poems in it. This is called Perfect. In any world, zombies are perfection. They don't attack each other just because. They don't seem to mind sharing all their food. They don't cheat each other in anything. They don't fornicate and cause divisions. They don't discriminate one single bit. In any world, zombies are perfection. They don't try to hide what they really are. They don't even lie to anyone's face. They don't worry about what they look like. They don't hurry to where they're going. They don't waste time getting to know you well. Yes, in any world, zombies are perfect, much better than most live humans I know. Okay, I'll read 3 more real quick. This is called Explanation. This one has a rhyming scheme to it. Let me explain about those who eat brains. They must be mad or severely insane. They're clearly dead, nothing left in their head, no longer human, truly can be said. Let me explain about those who eat brains. They drag about slowly, never in pain. They move about quirky, that is for sure. Whatever they have, for that there's no cure. Let me explain about those who eat brains. They eat a lot more and without complaint. Be dirty or clean, they won't care at all. Flesh is good eating, to them it's a ball. Let me explain about those who eat brains. Butt naked or dressed, they just have no shame. This next one is called Truth. This is a conversation between somebody that told somebody that didn't believe in zombies, and well, you'll see in a sec. Called Truth. I'm telling you the truth for the last time. There's no such thing as a damn zombie. That is just crap made up by Hollywood to make money while scaring you to hell. Those were the very last words I remember. Now, with a muzzle covering your mouth to keep you from snapping at me again, I want to argue that point I made then. Why don't you grunt to admit I was right? The fact that you want to eat me proves it. Now I had to keep you chained up and safe. Otherwise, the living will destroy you. Damn it, Bob. How'd you break that chain again? Bob, listen, man. I'm just kidding. Bob? All right, and one last one. Road. Why did the zombie cross the road, you ask? Well, it wasn't a chicken, so there's that. But you're standing vibrantly alive with delicious heart and supple lungs, with salty moisture on your healthy skin, with well-kept eyes that make him cry mercy, looking quite helpless just across the road. Why did the zombie cross the road, you ask? What? Are you stupid? You know what he wants. Standing so provocatively human, his mouth watering in anticipation. He's dead as he dead dreams about sinking his teeth into your adrenalized, fear-filled flesh. Yeah, you know, you are just asking for it. All right. Okay, so that's the only ones that I want to preview for that book. There's a lot more. There's like 2 songs in that book as well. So that book there. So now I guess I can ask you, is there a particular poem you wanted me to since you got the books with you.
Oh my gosh, do I get to make a request?
Of course, of course. I'll try to make it as entertaining as I can for you.
Oh, you're fabulous. You're fabulous. If you did not already have something intended, I would love to hear from Sex, Lies, and Chupacabra from the crown, which I'm going to ask you about, of something from the Chupacabra crown and something from the Speedy Gonzalez crown.
All right.
Your
So
favorites from either of those.
Speedy Gonzalez, I like that one. So Speedy Gonzalez speaks. Take it. Actually, I can go for hours, but I usually want to take the question. You want to listen. Sometimes I think I say the same poems over and over. And people say, I say something else. Okay. So this is from Sex, Lies, and Chupacabras. Okay. This is called Speedy Gonzalez Speaks. Trying to give voice to characters that are considered, I don't like use the words Hispanic, but Mexican. And of course, there's political reasons why I don't like using the word Hispanic, but I'm not going to get into here. So this is Speedy Gonzalez Speaks. After all, amigos, I am Gonzalez. Contrary to all the chisme rapidly spread like butter on hot tortillas, I am so tired of so many things. Take, for instance, my talent for speed. The faster they see me go, the more the questions linger. Can I beat Senor Flash with 2 arms rat trapped behind my back? Is Superman my secret track coach? Am I in love con la Wonder Woman? Amigos, I am just a pobre Gonzalez. At the end of the day, there are just too many questions. With so many questions, nursing an equal amount of weakness for good cheese, pretty brown women, the audacity of my primo Slowpoke Rodriguez, his 2 smoking 357 Magnum pistolas revolving negligently with his lack of speed, that pinche gringo pussycat Sylvester always in my menudo, messing up my enchilada of a life, forcing me to show off my skills just to keep the other cabrones off my back, creating pressure I don't need for my familia, my country, myself. After all, I want to do good. I only wish to do that good, just to be blatantly understood, for after all, that is what I am. A mortal with goodness in my heart, with all the follies of creation kind. For after all, I am the fastest mouse in all of Mexico, perhaps in love with everybody's sister, maybe even their nice looking mother, perhaps in love with the Mexican music, playing my heart out with my fellow mariachis, for that special girl, for that favorite cheese, or those favorite moments, or those legendary nights, or those legendary Mexican nights, sweet like full moon cheese, when every girl was Rosita to me. She stole my heart, among other things. She was the bronze of my skin, the color of everything I wanted, headed the wrong way up Tabasco Road. She righted my oblivious path. Yes, here I am again, my amigos. Esa rata has broken my corazon into pieces I cannot bear to look at. I just cannot bear to pick up. I hope I never see her again. I hope I won't remember her again. 5. I was wishing not to remember, hoping to forget you at last. Yet there you are, my primo. How do your guns travel today, Rodriguez? Do you remember Piedras Negras? Do you remember Sylvester's brother still searching for the killer? I haven't told him it is you. Have you stopped drinking yet? Did you forget what you told him last as he stared up the barrel of your gun from the red stained floor on his back? There's a revolution coming. If you're not with me, then you're dead. 6. If you're not with us, then you're dead. That is the call of the new evolution, the one that wishes for true equality, no matter the color of your skin, nor the type of your creation, nor the level of your distinguished intelligence. A time when all of us can join our hands, our paws, our feathered tips, our claws, and shout in one voice for all earth kind, that we are all equal partners on this blue rock, just third from the sun, just first from the thought that the earth is better off alive than dead, that we must learn to get along, learning to get along. In this crowded, consuming circle, mi papi would say with the tip of his yellow sombrero, that which he also passed down to me after the discovery of my supersonic speed, eating largely like a hummingbird just to keep up with this jalapeno urgency, to be able to fit into my white shirt and trousers, to be able to rescue my many Mexican primos, to be able to have a chance at a pretty senoritas, to be the ultimate hero. No one suspects. Arriba, arriba, arriba! Yeehaw! After all, amigos, I am Gonzalez. Contract all the all right. So I'll read the last one on the learning to read with chupacabras. So obviously, around first and second grade, I did the see spot run books. I learned basically learned English reading comic books because they were interesting. Otherwise, I probably never learned English, to be honest with you. I was speaking mainly Spanish, a little part of Nahuatl language also, which belongs to my mom's side. So I learned English. This was me trying to rewrite the books that I learned from. And some of you probably learned from these books, See, Spot, Run, or Dick and Jane books or something like that. So this is the title of this poem, and it's called Learning to Read with Chupacabras. It's a tragic story, by the way, so doesn't end well, just letting you know. Book one. See Spot run. See Spot run fast. Why Spot running so fast? See Chupacabra run. Chupacabra runs fast too. That's why Spot runs faster. See Spot zig and zag. See Chupacabra counter Spot. Chupacabra likes dogs. Chupacabra catches Spot. See Spot's eyes. See Chupacabra's fangs. Hear Spot yelp. Goodbye, Spot. Book two. Poor Spot. Chupacabra took him out. Spot had blood. Chupacabra hungry. Chupacabra needs blood. Chupacabra needs to eat. Chupacabra sorry for Spot. Chupacabra wonders if Spot had friend. Chupacabra still hungry. Chupacabra hears bark. Spot did have friend. Spot's friend is Spike. Spike much bigger than Spot. Spike saw Chupacabra kill Spot. 3. Chupacabra sees Spike. Chupacabra thinks Spike way too big. Chupacabra look elsewhere for food. Spike angry at Chupacabra. Chupacabra sorry for Spot. Spike chased Chupacabra. Chupacabra is fast. Spike not as fast as Spot. Spike gets tired fast. Spike was too far behind. Chupacabra way too fast. Spike stops running. Chupacabra lives another day. Spike goes back home. 4. Chupacabra at New York. Spike no longer says Chupacabra. House belonged to Dick and Jane. Dick is in the house. Jane is naked by swimming pool. Dick does not see Jane. Dick does not see Chupacabra. Jane is sunbathing. Jane does not see Chupacabra. Chupacabra hiding in the bush. Chupacabra see all of Jane. Chupacabra will eat later. Chupacabra need nap. Chupacabra waits for darkness. 5. Chupacabra very tired. Chupacabra resting in the bush. Chupacabra startled by noise. Jane makes loud noise. Jane touches man. Man wears brown clothes. Man is not Dick. Where is Dick? Dick is in the house. Dick also tired. Dick falls asleep watching football. Man takes clothes off. Jane wrestles with man. Jane is winning wrestling match. Hope you got an imagination. 6. Jane done wrestling man. Man is leaving. Chupacabra is still watching from bush. Dick wakes up. Dick yells at Jane. Dick loads gun. Dick comes out of house. Jane runs fast. Man runs faster. Chupacabra thinks Dick saw him too. Chupacabra also run fast. Dick fires first shot. Man goes down. Boy, what a mess Dick has made. 7. See Chupacabra run. See Jane run faster. Dick takes second shot. See Jane fall down. Hear Jane cry to Dick. Dick takes last shot. Cops come for Dick. Cops shoot for Dick too. Chupacabra no longer worried about Dick. See Chupacabra at another house. See Spike smile. Spike waiting for Chupacabra. See Chupacabra's eyes. See Spike's fangs. Goodbye, Chupacabra. Learn to read the Chupacabra. All right. So obviously it's a parody. So and I know it's yeah. So how's that portrait? Well, it's my portrait. So do your own thing. Anyhow. So anything else? Obviously I got other stuff here, but you like to hear anything else?
I'm enjoying listening to you enormously, but pick one or two more of your favorites.
Okay.
Please.
Normally I have another poem that involves a crowd, but I'll read I think some of the people here might know who Joe R. Lansdale is, and he's a very good friend of poets, to be honest with you. So I did this one poem. He likes to write a lot about killers and stuff, so hopefully that you'll understand this one. And there's a song related to this, and I'm only 21, so if you're a lot older than me, then you probably know the song. I'm just kidding. It's called Requiem for Satan. That's not the name of the song, it's the name of the poem. But there's a song that goes something like that. For Joe R. Lansdale, respectfully. There in the dark, piney woods of a forgotten place in Texas, the beast moves like the hot wind, heavy, pushing this tree or that, snapping branches like saltine crackers, collecting souls with every move. Surely he's looking for me, yet why? Smiling, pointy fangs, smacking his lips, singing softly, hope you guess my name. Or was it the dead radio from the abandoned car? Somehow I think I know what's going on. Dropping the bloody knife, I am sure of it. Agreeing are the lifeless bodies at my feet. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. All right. These are that's a sonnet. So okay, one last one here. Okay, so this is one of the first poems ever I read public. Not the first one, but the one that's speculative. It's about comic book. I had this comic book affection since I was a kid. My mom was a Christian woman. She believed that the funny books were the things of the devil. Obviously, Batman did not impress her very well. So every time I borrowed, because we were poor, obviously, I didn't realize that until we were older. So any books that I borrowed that she didn't like, she would burn them. We had a little potbelly stove, she would burn it. So this is kind of talking to my mom, even though she already passed away. So I know today's Father's Day. By the way, happy Father's Day to those that are on here and to your fathers as well. But this is for my mom. She was a little bit crazy. I still love her, but we went through some things. This is called Comic Book Love Affair. To my 1980s or so comic book hating pyromaniac mother. Thunder and lightning paranoia across the sky. I shall pay dearly this nasty habit won't die. Mama used to say, it's all wrong. So she burned them all, that which to me belonged. She used to say I was obsessed. Good Christian woman thought I was possessed. Tears of anger for what I love. Dear mother, what were you thinking of? Now I'm grown. I have learned to forgive, but I'm also married. Will history be relived? I love her a lot, but I love them too. They call to me. Oh, my mind is a zoo. This comic book love affair consumes most of me. Oh, this faithful sin of mine, it just won't let me be. I hope she understands. I hope they all understand. Never, ever come between a comic book and her man. Thank
Bravo, bravo. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I have so much I want to ask you about, but this is supposed to be about the public. And my goodness, there are questions from
you.
those folks. So I will be kind and contain myself and read you what people want to know. So what is your poetry writing process? Jerry asks. Who are you inspired by?
Well, people like yourself, first of all. So um, I read a lot and I write down thoughts. My journal is here somewhere. I moved it. So, anyways, so I write down thoughts as they occur. I have a little booklet, and this my shirt doesn't have a book, place to put it, but carry a little small journal, carry a large journal, and I just write stuff down and I come back to it when I have time, quiet time. I find a quiet time in the morning. At night, I like to spend the time reading, of course, uh, King, Joe R. Lansdale, Kuntz, Joe Hill now, his son, King's son, and of course the Lovecraft, the old ones, you know. I try to the other day, I'm trying to remember the name of the book, and you probably know the book too. Just recently, when I didn't recently read it, but I was trying to say the diversity of the authors that I read. It's all over the place. Of course, a lot of Native American poetry. Uh, I, I don't normally do speculative with that, but I did do a few poems as far as that, and I'm working on that too, as far as Chupacabra and creating a Native American narrative to him too as well. Which, by the way, is gonna. I did put in a 28-line poem for Jenny Rector's book of werewolves, and that introduces the book, but it's actually Chupacabra in a reference to the Chupacabra being a shapeshifter. Anyhow, so I read a lot. Yeah, I read a lot of books. I read a lot of things. Once in a while, I even read Cosmo. I got 2 or 3 found poems out of Cosmo, believe it or not. One of them was about environmental issues, specifically fires, which I wrote a crown about. And it appeared in a beat poetry poem. But anyways, so read. And a lot of authors will tell you to read. And you'll never know. Sometimes you have an author, you like something that they wrote, and then maybe the next book won't be what you like, but then just can't come back to them. You never know. There's a season for everything too. I have books that started reading, I say, I don't like this, and I come back years later, so I'm gonna read it, try it again, and sure enough, I really like it. So the seasons for everything as well.
Absolutely.
But it's pretty much all over the place. I try not to limit myself. I know some people have they're stuck in the routine, and I try not to be as routine as possible. I mean, I know I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, write stuff down, and sometimes it doesn't look like English in the morning, but it's down. So or Spanish or whatever language.
Those dreams can speak to you. Those dreams may carry a line or a phrase for you. Yeah.
Exactly, and a lot of them will come that way for me too. So, but yeah, just keep reading, and people you never heard of will inspire you. You never know it.
Okay, another question from the audience. How do you come up with your pairings? Specifically, what makes you think to pair a nursery rhyme and zombies or chupacabras?
Well, first of all, I like chupacabras and zombies, of course. So I like to parody, make parody into from anything, because I don't know, I'm rebellious, I guess, and I want to do right. And by the way, we're not the first ones to do it. I mean, think about it for a second. Our national anthem actually belongs to the rhythm and stuff belongs to something like that. So the Americans were doing the American Revolution. We're already doing it for stuff
From the
England.
British.
Yeah, they were already doing that kind of stuff. So I kind of do that, and I know some people don't like, especially around Christmas time when they hear like, because I politicize some of the like wishing on a white Christmas. I said wishing on a brown Christmas, and I talk about tamales, eating tamales and menudo and all the stuff that, to be honest with you, a lot of people that my Anglo friends won't understand what the heck I'm talking about, but the Mexican friends will understand exactly, and they think it's funny. So, about entertainment. And so I'm a big guy, so I try to make people smile as much as I can. Because sometimes I say some stuff that kind of makes them scared, and I say, well, I got to put in some funny stuff in there too. So as I kind of did today. So anyhow,
But you're seated, so you could have been rough with us today.
yeah, I normally when I deliver, I'm standing,
I know.
and I get the crowd involved. I got poems that I have them repeat back to me. Of course,
Excellent.
it's hard to do here, but yeah, I do get involved, and I might not be the smartest poet in the world, but I have fun doing it.
You mentioned humor. So is that why you use humor? I wondered about the role of humor, the importance of humor in your work. I enjoy it, but it's also disarming. I feel like it makes me think of, since it's Father's Day, I'll mention my father. It makes me think of something my father taught me about, like how you set someone up and distract them before you like bring in the other arm. And I feel that's what you do in your poetry with humor. I mean, is that your intent?
Yes, that's part of my intent. The other part too is that the fact that I my spirit animal is the coyote, Cocopelli, the trickster, and so is the chupacabra. Chupacabra is kind of like related to Cocopelli and the trickster. So that is my personality. I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. I'm not a small guy. I'm a teacher in class. I've always gotten this, well, sir, we're kind of intimidated by you, so I try to make him feel comfortable. So what I do in the classroom, I kind of try to do with adults, because I walked around corners before when I used to frequent establishments, and people are afraid of walking. So I kind of know that about me, that other people have that about me. And sometimes I have a resting face that looks angry, but I'm not angry. I'm just at my peace. So I try to work with what I know that how I can perceive by other people, and use it in my delivery as well. So I try to put all that in. Like I said, I don't always get it right. And some people, especially the political poetry, I've run into some heavy duty Republicans here lately. So you don't take kindly of me, but being a big guy, they don't really say a whole lot, but I can tell in their faces. I've had a few approach me, but respectfully, and I try to answer respectfully that we are all entitled to the opinion. When we're talking about, I have the right to do so. Serve this country. I've done these things. You just the same way as you come up to me, approach me, and ask and try to give me your opinion, is what I'm trying to do. And if you got something to say, by all means, put it in a poem and get up there and get in the open mic and say it. So you take that. But yeah, I try to be the trickster most of the time.
I wonder about, okay, because this is an issue for me, those silos. So you addressed it earlier when you talked about reading widely. I totally agree with that. Reading everything, reading almost anything for a while to at least expose yourself to the range of expression and subject matter. But the silo I'm thinking of, because I sort of share that, that the political is here and the speculative is there. I found, at least with why I love the Speedy Gonzalez crown, and okay, now I get to talk about the crown. So
okay,
folks, don't believe this man, his what's the word? His humility is lovely, but he's in Sex, Lies, and Chupacabra. He's done something that poets find challenging. And what's really wonderful, again, he does it in a very disarming way. So maybe you don't understand, or so you're not smacked with the technical skill he's exhibiting by creating these crowns of sonnets. So crowns of sonnets are, they're linked, and he links the lines. So the last line of the preceding poem is the first line of the next poem. And he did several crowns, these groups of 7 poems that are interlinked. This is really totally astonishing and amazing skillful work. And he kind of, and again, he delivered it's written accessibly, and yet if you want to dwell on it, you get so much more from it. I mean, Juan, you're just so incredibly impressive. Space and Pieces also was just alternately annoying and mind-blowing, and enjoyable and irritating. I mean, you did all of that. You're all of that in a bag of chips. So please don't talk about not being the whatever you said. I'm not even going to repeat it, because you're a fabulous, fabulous poem. I want to know though, what about the sonnet engaged you, and what made you think to write in the sonnet form, and then also to do this incredible feat with sonnets? Okay, now I'll be quiet. Please tell us.
No, for the longest time, I was trying to find a form that that I could enjoy. And I mean, there's all kinds of different forms out there, but also to find structure. And a lot of times, as in my earlier poems, which I'll probably never read, but it was like all over the place. It's like, I'm like, well, what kind of form is this? As I started thinking about form, I wanted to be associated with the sonnet because it was 14 lines, and as I improved on my sonnet, now they're 10 syllable lines per. No matter what I said, I wanted it to be 14 lines, 10 syllables. So I've done that, but it took a long time to get to that, because when I was writing, I felt like I was rambling so long. It's like, it's like rambling. Where's my form? I kept asking the question, what form? Where's my form? And I found it in the sonnet, and I found it in the haiku, which I write haiku sonnets now, which it's not haiku sonnet, but haiku crowns, as I call them. But basically, what there's seven, which is what I did with the Mermaloids Lament, 7 haiku that tell this part of the story together in a set of 7. So those are the forms that I've gotten to, but this is from trying different things years and years and years. But I first read publicly in 2006, but before that I was writing poetry. But as I read that poetry from before, from the 1990s and 80s, I'm going like, it's like it doesn't have form. And for some reason I had an internal thing, so I need some form, and sonnets became the form. And then I started to, some people had told me, bastardizing the sonnet, but calling them a sonnet because it was simply about zombies. So zombie sonnets. So I had to argue that point with some professors already. But I said, look, man, this is just about having fun. Chill out, right? Relax. Don't teach them in school if you don't want to, but this is what I'm doing. I'm having fun doing it. So, but I was searching for a form. That's the form. Space and Pieces. And I know a lot of people find this annoying, but people don't realize that each sonnet has different voices in it.
Yeah,
it's not just one voice. This is
I
making
got
sense.
that. I got that. It's still challenging. It's still, he challenges you, folks. He challenges you. So he's acting all, he's at one. I don't know him, having read him and just heard him. He's ever the teacher. He's always, so he's leading and he's teaching, as well as expressing and having a good time and messing with your mind. And that happens particularly in Space and Pieces.
But I promise one day I'll have, actually my goal is to have this, since I've done some stage acting, done some stage acting, I wanted to get the voices recorded and have individual actors record each of the voices so people can understand it. But I wanted to, since I've read a lot of historical poetry like the Aeneid, the Odyssey, there are choruses within there, and sometimes they're hard to see unless you're actually listening or hearing the voices. And sometimes
the oral and the music, you made it manifest when you read to us today, but I see that on the page, right? You do give us clues. You do use different typefaces, and you do typographically do things and I'm oriented that way too. So I read your stuff aloud, and so reading it aloud even suggests what you want to convey. But it would be delightful. I mean, please let me know. I'd love to participate if you're going to do a project. I'd love to be a reader.
That's
It's
not a bad
just
idea.
your work is just wonderful. When did you begin writing poetry?
Well, junior high, but I was writing poetry to a lost love. She
Ooh.
broke my heart.
Oh,
So, but since then, and then after that, I started writing this dark gothic stuff that everybody does after a little bit. And then I started saying, you know what, this.
well, what age? What age was this?
That would be around probably about 12, 13 years old. That I can physically remember
So your whole life.
my whole life. So I never thought back then. I never thought I'd actually be a poet per se. Thought I'd be an astronaut actually, but I was too large for an astronaut. That's what they told me. Either that or they just wanted somebody else. So I became a medic where I can carry 2 people at a time and go into crazy stuff and do crazy stuff and bring them back out. But yeah, I've been writing since about, at least I can remember, at least 12 or so. And then I started heavily writing for my girlfriend, who I thought I was gonna marry, but didn't work out. So yeah, I've been writing for a while. It started publishing around 1990, but very sporadically. And then in the 2000s, I got a little heavier, moved on and started reading a lot more, had more time to read, and became an educator and I had a little bit more time to read. I had to read actually. So and I started getting into a lot of historical poetry, and then voila, my inner soul came out, which is what I started with, was my speculative ideas of, what if this and what if that.
Mm-hmm. When did you start writing speculative poetry?
I think actually from a dream, it was probably junior or senior year that I wrote this weird poem about apocalypse and a different type of beast. And I have it somewhere, and I wanted to kind of like, maybe I could revise it somewhere. It's in storage, I know that. But yeah, it's around junior, senior year that I actually wrote my first poem based on a dream that I had. And it had involved kind of sort of like revelations, but it wasn't. It was my revelations.
Mm-hmm.
There was a
Mm-hmm.
different beast and some, I was already attracted to like Star Wars and Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. So
Mm-hmm.
I already had that, but the beasts were similar to apocalyptic definitions, and that was my first one. And then I wrote another one my senior year about driving. It was apocalyptic also, driving a bomb on a vehicle, and I'm already deteriorating, or the character's deteriorating, and he wants to hit this water tower in order for it to explode the entire town. I don't know. It's a weird poem. I don't even know. I don't know if that can be salvaged or not, but that was about senior year, I guess. So those two I definitely remember.
Fabulous. There's another question from the audience. If you were to sit down with one poet from any time period, with whom would you pick to collaborate?
Woo! Edgar Allan Poe. Of course, I know he's way ahead.
The founder,
He's
our
founder.
founder, I think of,
Nevermore.
or modern, yes.
So yeah, him if it was. If not, then let's see who I know. Joe R. He actually is a pretty good poet, but he's a good storyteller too. But there's a lot of other poets out there that, of course, Marge Simon, Bruce Boston, yourself, um, and some other ones out there. But as far as the ones that are gone, it definitely would be him. I often thought that maybe Walt Whitman, but because I think he's
Whitman was
transcendental.
one, Whitman's on my list too. Oh my gosh. I love Whitman.
But if I had to really pick, it'd be Poe for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Poe, our modern founder of speculative.
Yeah.
There are, okay, this is a little different.
Okay.
And one of your, I don't remember, I think it was the Speedy Gonzalez, may have been. Okay, you mentioned Piedras Negras, the Black Stones. Okay, and when I looked it up, it took me down this rabbit hole, and I was like, is that what he meant? Because it's a place name, people, for those, if you wiki it, it's a place name for a modern city. And it says that the, black stones refer to coal, but it's also an ancient site of a civilization that was quite magnificent, that extended and included, and then they started naming all of these countries: Guatemala, Mexico, El Salvador, da 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 da, for these people that were at Piedras Negras. Were you referencing that?
Both of them, yes. But I was also referencing the fall, which is actually the real Piedras Negras, which was across the border from Eagle Pass, from the area where I actually live. So Piedras Negras.
Oh,
A lot of history
it
of
was home. It was home for you.
basically, yes. But also I do know about the other showing, but I wanted to show the more downfalling piece, and that's why I referenced the
Oh,
actual city. So yes, but yes, I'm aware of the other definition as well. So
wow. No, not that you're not. I wondered what you were asking me, the reader, to do, what you were pointing at, because you point at a lot of stuff. See, that's the whole thing. And so I'm not taking anything you say for granted. You know, and then knowing that you're a history teacher, I'm like, oh my gosh, is he trying to teach me something? I'm slow. I'm an old lady. I'm a slow
oh,
learner, you
oh,
know. Oh, um, okay. So did I hear you say, so you're going to blow my mind some more? English is your third language?
technically yes, it's Spanish and
Wow.
Nahua, and then of course, but it's easy for Mexican Spanish because a lot of Nahua is already in it. Words like aguacate, bocolote, uh, things like that, cacahuate, they're already in the modern Mexican Spanish that I speak. So it's easy, that part. I'm not as fluent as my grandmother was when she
Mm.
was talking to me, but I don't use it a whole lot, obviously. Spanish, I use, a little bit more. And of course, English, I have to use. Uh, but
Do you write poetry in Spanish
yes,
or?
in Spanish and with using some of the Nahuatl language. And
Oh,
I want to completely translate some of my poetry in just pure Nahuatl, but some words do not translate properly. So that's it. That's the only problem, especially speculative words or things that have to do with science fiction of some sort. Because obviously Nahuatl is an old language and some of
yes.
these things didn't exist, so we have to maybe instead of using car, we have to use wagon or something like that. That's extreme, but uh, things like that.
But maybe that has concepts that we don't have. So I'm wondering about translation the other way, that you might be saying things that we don't have words for.
Mm. Well, I mean, think of the word. I guess we use. I try to the portrait like I use the hummingbird. Hummingbird in English, of course, hummingbird. In Spanish is chuparrosas, and of course in Nahua is huasilopochi. So
Wasina poach.
huasilopochi, the war god.
Whoa.
So the hummingbird is the war god for a lot of them. Well, the Mexica tribe. So the Mexica, which where the Mexican name comes from. Remember, in Mexico, there's a lot more tribes than just the Mexica, which is where the Mexican word comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a complicated thing.
No, it's a beautiful thing. And you need to please keep educating us and keep creating in that way. Someone saying that was great. Thank you. They haven't, I mean, yes, I've got to say thank you because it's 8 o'clock. This went too fast. It went too fast. Juan, your work is wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing it with us, for sharing your heart with us, for educating and entertaining and enlightening us. Deeply appreciative of your wonderful work. Please tell us the name again of the new book, because
And,
I didn't have that in my, so tell us again what we should be looking for and getting. The let's see, did I write it down?
Planet,
Planet of the Hungry Zombie,
the
Sonnets?
zombie sonnets,
Zombie Sonnets.
right? Seasons 1 and 2. The reason I didn't say much is because it's still being worked out and it's closer now. So I'm hoping that I hope Michelle. Well, I don't think Michelle is on it, but I'm hoping that it'll get done by October, so we can definitely bust it out in October. But it is a work in process that should be getting close to the end. So, but it's called Zombie Sonnets. I plan out the Zombie Sonnets seasons 1 and 2. So I'm already working on season 3 and 4. I kind of tailored it on the idea that these are like, seasons from TV, like Walking Dead and Fear
Ah.
the Walking Dead and all that. So I kind of play with that too. I paradise that too, by the way.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for coming and listening. Support a poet, support speculative poetry. Keep reading. Peace and love to you all. Blessings and go well. Be well.
Oh.
Bye.